A tasty one for you to warm you up. It is none other than NaVi versus Astralis for our first day of the Legends stage of the FACEIT Major live from London. The top 16 teams in the world gather to battle and duke it out to find out who very much is the best in the world, and currently it is Astralis. At least that's what most are saying. Well, they have to best NaVi if they want to get that first win under their belt, and it's by no means a guarantee. I'm your host, Machine, and I'm looking forward to talking about this one with these beautiful analysts. We do have, of course, coach and legend of Counter-Strike, none other than Mr. Threat, and we have the king/bay of NA. They call him Sean Gares. Now, of course, I was supposed to tell you about social media, and if you want to tell us who you love, who you hate, and everything in between, because that's what people do on the internet, you can. Hashtag FACEIT Major. Let us know and keep us up to date and join the conversation with everyone else who's watching at home. We get the opportunity to watch live right here in the studio. We've been hearing their comms, and I tell you what, Sean, if you ever want to treat yourself, now you've got kind of, unfortunately, two non-English speaking teams, but when you've got like the two English speaking teams, sit your ass down here and listen, because the comms are so much fun to
Dude, listen to Complexity and Ty Lue was a treat.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
they were good. They were good to listen to.
And that was, of course, wild. We've had both of those teams pick up the first win and guarantee a spot at the next major so far. Surprises keep coming, and I can already hear NaVi starting their war chant.
That was serious. That was NaVi?
I'm guessing. I mean, who else is it going to be? It's not going to be Astralis. They just kind of sit there and go, hey, let's be good, guys. Fist bump, fist bump. No, let's start the conversation, and I want to first start with NaVi. This is a roster that, you know, recently they've had their woes. They've had their fall from grace over in Stockholm, of course, falling to the winners of that tournament.
Yeah,
North.
And this man on your screen before, Electronic, he's actually what propelled NaVi to be, you know, this top 2 team in the world lately. He burst onto the scene actually when he joined their team. He struggled at first, but ever since he found form, that's when NaVi has found form as a team. So it's really important for them that he continues that.
Yeah, but we have to discuss their struggle at the last 2 events. They went out in the quarterfinals versus North in Stockholm, 2 straight maps. So a bit of a shaky last 3 months for them, even though at one point it looked like they could actually go past Astralis.
Oh yeah. They've got the firepower, and it's in the form of a rather scary man on your screens yet to be mentioned. It is Mr. Simple. These rosters are brought to you by DreamTeam.gg, and look at that roster, breathe it in. I mean, when we talk about the way this team is structured throughout, I'd love to hear you break it down. How does NaVi find their wins? If you were talking about roles, if you're talking about how they approach a game of Counter-Strike.
I mean, Zeus is playing the same style he's done since 1.6. It's a very slow style. It's kind of puggy, where he doesn't really have any advanced executes. He just likes to play really slow defaults, and of course use the fact that he has the unquestionable the best player in the world. Sorry, it's a hard word.
That's how excited you are. Unquestionable scariness.
Thank you.
From Simple. He's on your screens right there. I mean, there is very few arguments against that this guy is one of, if not the best player in the world. He can get away with things no one else can.
Yeah, I've actually never seen anyone quite like Simple in my entire CS career, even dating back to 1.6. He is dominant, unlike anyone I've ever seen, like way more so than Cold Zero's era or even Olaf's era. Simple takes over games in such a tremendous fashion as an entry fragger, clutcher, AWPer, Deagle. Like, he does literally everything.
Yeah, I would almost consider him the best AWPer in the world.
Yes.
The only reason I don't want to do that is because it's not an AWPer.
That's actually kind of a fantastic way to summarize what Simple does to an analyst desk. But he is going up against Astralis, who do tend to have his number. They don't let that beast be unleashed, and it is the regimented Danish squadron, Astralis. They've got the individuals as well. It seems like they've got all the stars aligning. What do you reckon, Threat?
I think it's gotta be or which map? Sorry.
No, dude, I was just asking to talk about Astralis.
Oh, about Astralis.
Yeah, it's quite the roster.
Yeah, I mean, they had a really good start of the year, winning maybe 3 or 4 tournaments, but they struggled a bit recently. They did go to the finals in Stockholm, where they lost to North 2-0. It was a really close game. 2-1. So I think they're in form, but they're not as good as they were for maybe like 3 months ago.
They're looking to find that form once again, Sean. It's not like it's not out of grasp, out of their reach.
No, not at all. They have an insanely deep map pool, so much so that, you know, they were banning Train. They decided not to anymore for no reason at all, really. They were already winning every event. They just wanted to switch that up, push Cash to, you know, their permaban.
Yeah.
They haven't lost a Newt game on LAN I don't even know. And it has to be around 20 games in a row now at this point. It's incredible. Like they're an incredible team, and they put tons of work into the strategic side of the game.
And it must be so annoying for NaVi that Astralis changed their perma veto to cash, because NaVi has, I don't think they've ever played cash.
Right. I mean, that's their insta-ban as well. It does make the veto oh so interesting. Of course, not forgetting it is a best of one. So when you start talking about Astralis, the fact of the matter is every individual has their own degree of preparation outside of team prep. And I think that that's, and we're not exaggerating, that Magis has got his notebook, Dev Device has got his spreadsheet, then you've got Sonic who's ready to slap you on the wrist if you step out of line. It does seem like this is a new approach to forming a Counter-Strike team threat, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. The way in which Astralis have approached Counter-Strike and a Counter-Strike team, it's different to what we're used to.
Yeah, I think they all live in Copenhagen. They have an office where they all practice from, so they have a more regular work hours. They work 8 hours a day. They have team meetings. They used to have a sports psychologist. I don't think they have that anymore, but they kind of have that in Sonic. He's sort of like the dad of the team. I don't think he has that much tactical input as some of the other coaches, but I think he's probably the best coach out there right now.
I think they've mastered it. Like, as you said, Alex, they've mastered the whole aspect of preparation and putting time into the game, even so much so of taking tournaments off. I think they've mastered that aspect of Counter-Strike, which a lot of other pro teams struggle with. They go to every single event. Astralis has somehow managed to stay fresh in this crazy schedule.
That was a loud one. It's hard to take it all back. It's not a quiet fist bump in any stretch, as they are ready for with their own war cry. And this is your head-to-head as we get ready to jump into the server. It is Simple and Device, and this was simple to select two players. I mean, this is brought to you by The Predator, which is in cinemas September 14th. These two are stars in their own right, but could not be any more different in the server. I mean, this is two very different play styles, right?
Yeah, I mean, Simple is way more aggressive, especially as an AWPer compared to Device. I think Device is probably the best player or the best AWPer to play the more passive style, which usually favors the T-side AWPing compared to the CT side. So it's going to be interesting to see which map it's going to be. If it's Overpass, I think it's going to be really important who has the best game.
You can start that conversation now. I know you're anxious to see exactly what map does come down. I know you've been crunching the numbers amongst yourselves. Is this making sense so far?
The Overpass ban from Astralis already is pretty unique because right now we're both considering, Overpass could be an option, Inferno could be an option.
Another one?
I mean, this could go a lot of ways. Both these teams have such deep map pools that the only things for sure that we're going to be out of the question are going to be Cash from NaVi, Mirage from Astralis, and likely we're going to see a train ban coming from Astralis.
And NaVi is going to ban Nuke. They have to. I mean, Astralis has a 100% win rate on Nuke the past 3 months, so
that's terrifying.
And that's not because NaVi slouches on Nuke. NaVi's actually very, very strong on Nuke. I would probably say they're the second best team in the world on it, but even NaVi has to respect Astralis' Nuke.
And make no mistake as well, if it had gone to Nuke, NaVi would have had the choice of side. It's not your usual not seeing Nuke in a best of one reason, which is you don't want to have the opponent pick the side. It's more of a case of they just straight up respecting Astralis. They're giving them that love, and it is Inferno that we have. They had the choice between Train and Inferno, and we get to see another Inferno between two teams who were no slouch on the map.
No. And I'm a little disappointed because I wanted to see it go to like Overpass or something.
Yeah, you kind of hyped me up for that.
But I mean, these teams are both incredible on this map. The last time we saw them play on it, I think, was when NaVi took them out in that final. And we saw a lot of gamble stacks come out of NaVi in that game. Zeus made some incredible CT reads, and it's going to be important that he somehow does that again.
Yeah, going to have to get their head around it. And indeed, we have chopped and changed your commentary duo as well for this one. It's a big game. We've got yourselves the big boys. We do have Henry and Sado joining us. Gentlemen, I need your predictions. I need your help because it's number one and number two in the world.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. It is a very good point, Matthew. I think the fact that Inferno is a very important fact as well. NaVi used to be their best map, but recently Edwards even come out and said it's the map they need to play the most. I feel like people have become aware of what they do on the map. I'm going to say Astralis for me to put in a nutshell.
That's a good point. That's kind of something that happens with top teams when they get really good at one map. They figure, okay, we can rest on that and we'll work on something we're not as strong at, and then you kind of go stale. So that tends to happen quite a bit. It is number one and number two. I was really tempted this morning when we put in our predictions to go with NaVi, but I got to go with Astralis. I know they didn't have the best dream hack, but I think that they can turn things around in this event, and it's another major where I think they are the favorite.
It is so hard to look past the Danes. What about you guys on the desk, Sean?
I gotta go Astralis, but I could definitely see this snowballing out of control if Navi gets the pistols. But I have to lean Astralis.
Oh my goodness, it's going all the way, isn't it?
I have to go Astralis as well. I wasn't
Come on,
impressed
Alex,
with
you got this.
Have I?
Alex, come on.
Dude.
I thought about it.
Yeah, Matt, it is close, right? It's close, but you just can't look past Astralis. And Navi definitely could surprise. They've got simple, you know, they can do anything.
And well, that's the crazy thing. Just to cut in, you say surprise. It almost wouldn't be. Like, it's not like it's a huge upset. It's just that you have to go with the favorite in this. That's all.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Astralis as well. And gentlemen, we'll love you and leave you as we'll see how this one plays out.
Thank you very much, Alex. Inferno, again, Matthew, in best of ones, very prevalent map. We've got Mirage, Inferno. We've seen a lot of overtime so far. I don't think this one's going to go down in that particular fashion. Just having a look as well, there's going to be Astralis starting the CT side. I think if they just get the first pistol, get off to a good start, NaVi starts hitting shots. I just haven't been that convinced by NaVi recently. I think Flamey and the rumours surrounding him has kind of affected his play. I haven't really been that excited by him. Edward even came out of DreamHack and said in the player break, these guys only practiced one day before that particular tournament. So they didn't use the player break to actually develop or evolve. They're just kind of clutching at straws and trying to keep on.
That says something actually to me that I kind of like, and that we have the player break for a reason. It's kind of unfortunate that there's two major events. One is literally a major and another big event just after it. But they took the time off. They took the time to sort of rest and recuperate, and then they would have used the Masters, as weird as it sounds, as a shape-up for this. And that isn't a bad approach. I'm not against that. Now, I just want to point out really quickly, before we get too far into it, don't forget about upcomer.com. You can head there, download it for either Google Play or iTunes, I believe it is, through the iShop. I'm not an iUser.
iShop,
iShop, what's it called?
The App Store.
App Store, thank you. There you go. That's very clever, isn't it? App Store. And you can download it. Don't forget you can vote on some of the plays throughout this entire event. So that's my point. Listen, the whole R&I thing, you either got to use it strictly for practice or strictly for rest. And in between is going to ruin both.
Right down the middle, as in you get 2 weeks holiday, right? And you get 2 weeks of boot camp and changing strategies, because everyone's complaining they don't have enough time to do this because of all the tournaments, but a month holiday seems a bit excessive.
Sure, as long as you put it in chunks, right?
Sure.
If you're kind of practicing here and there on and off and don't actually get a full vacation or don't actually get full practice, I think that would ruin it. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, we're off. This could be the game of the day, NaVi versus Astralis. It is Inferno. You are going to see that infamous CZ on the CT side designed to shut down the rushes. Banana Rush could be coming from the T side as well. They're grenaded towards the top. It's Zipex to defend, and he's playing tentatively at the top here. Doesn't want to overcommit and potentially be gunned down by those Glocks.
So Zipex with the pistol, holding it back, has rotations already coming around to the site in the form of Glaive. Gives them a bit more support for it, excuse me, in the form of Device, who gets closer. So he's the one that came back through CT spawn at Zipex backside of the site already. They want to play this rather passively. Glaive with the CZ stays up close, still has a very formidable amount of damage dealt, although the patch has been in effect now for quite a while. We talked about we couldn't make a conclusion without a sample size.
Sure.
The one-shot headshot gone is one thing, but the fire rate and DPS, if we want to borrow the term, is still really powerful.
It hasn't been as outrageous, I'll say that much. I haven't been as upset as I usually am when I watch the CZ in motion, but overall, yeah, I think the balance has been relatively successful. Either way, Matthew, we are going to be getting into the sub 1 minute mark, and you can see an A side of attack coming in. Smokes towards the pit and the library, perhaps. Flash over and try and bully the pit. But Magisk is an absolute king of this position. We'll see if he can hold on. Nice kill from him. Only good for one and simple with the P250. Will start to do work here as they swarm the A bomb site. That should be bomb planted. Of course, in the pistol, the CTs are going to go for this. They've still got time to recoup. There is no kit available right now, but Glaive has got the smoke.
Big kill from Simple to get the shot immediately toward Magisk. It forced Dupree to respond from underneath, but it left him in an awkward position because they were able to get past the hay bales and then surround him in the small pit. That's basically what opened up the site. So Simple to hold off toward the pit now with the plant down in. A little bit deeper, he can still see it. Zeus will sit right on top of it. They even smoke it off on their side to try and get the CTs closer, but Simple has vision and all three coming from his position. He'll call that out. Zeus tries to get above the smoke and deep inside of the site. It's an easy rotation back out into position for Electronic as well. So Device gone. He wants to hold on to the armor, and it's going to be the round to NaVi.
Well, Simple gets out with the P250. He's got the armor as well, and you can see why they buy that particular weapon. Has that one-tap potential. A player of his caliber can cause a lot of destruction there. His teammates find him some space. He takes some of the aggro. He comes out, finds the shots required, focusing on the pit and the bomb site, executes everyone in his vision. And as you can see, here he is coming out of the apartments, and just look how crisp he is. He's considered the world's best for a reason, as he completely dispatches of Astralis there. Huge round for them. Remember, it's a best of one. Two Titans here on a map they're both very comfortable with. It's a very, very important game. You've seen some of the results we've had today, Matthew. Some huge upsets and some scary-looking games going forward tomorrow for sure. Either way, the MAC-10s will come out. We're going to have 3 of those, an AK-47 for Simple and indeed Zeus, and a Force Spy from Astralis. It will be Glaive and Dupree. We have the CZ Deagle combo. Zipex, just a note, no armor for him. We'll have a look at his cash. He's trying to keep himself a little bit more level-headed. It's going to be Device, who has dropped to CZ. He keeps his money at $1,000. So there we go. Obviously saving up the AWP. It's going to be a tantalizing battle map. Device versus Simple. It's a bit of a classic.
It's not a bad one, that's for sure. I mean, that's the thing as well when we make the predictions on the desk. You have to consider that Simple, at any moment, can turn a game on its head.
Yep.
And even when he's not completely dictating the pace, he's still prevalent.
He's always going to be a factor for this team, that's for sure. But Electronic, he has to be in the same conversation as well. He has looked stellar for this squad in 2018. No one really believed he could live up to the hype, but I've been pleasantly surprised. He has been an excellent asset for NaVi overall as they start to deploy themselves towards the B-bomb site here. Zipex waiting on the other side. Remember, they took a force buy here, but they had a couple of smokes to buy themselves some time and treat it like a gun round here. Zipex is alone towards B, though, and as they execute, he'll be lucky to get more than one, I would say. That's a nice first kill by him, but as you can see, they've got full access to the site now, and it might even be considering saving at this point. That might sound really weird, but they'll give it a go for now. We'll see whether they can cause any sort of damage here. And you can see them maybe thinking about holding up for exits at this point. Do you want to give up the CZ armor? And you can see them, yes, indeed. I was a bit worried I was going to call that one wrong.
Yeah.
But they are going to fall back, even though they have man advantage.
I thought the alternative might have been where they got 1 kill on entry, meaning that the gun is closer toward Banana, and the bomb is going to detonate it in that direction. If they left Zipex and Spawn to hold the smoke and just keep them contained in B, they could have looked for exit kills in Banana directly with the other pistols. But the save is there's no fault in that at all.
No, absolutely. Now they're going to have CZs, and presumably you can justify a couple of smokes here, some flashbangs. And sure, 4 players from NaVi survived, but you took a bit of a gamble. You had 4 players on the A side. Zipex was good for 1. He survived, and they win the round. Sometimes you just got to agree that we can't win this round anymore. It's better for us to save onto the little we have and maybe do something more of it in going into the next round. So will they buy anything more than what they have right now? They have 1 smoke grenade and 2 players without armor. That's Glaive and Zipex at the moment. Do they want to spend any extra cash here? Maybe a couple of flashbangs to allow them to go for a push here. We'll see what they decide to do. It looks like a very conservative approach and sticking to what they already have. They want to make sure the money is kept under control. And like we said, best of ones, money is such a massive factor. Sometimes you can have halves where your main AWPers, Simple or Device, for example, won't get the AWP till round number 11 because your finances have been so ruined by force buys and compromises you had to make. So I like what they're doing right now, making sure they have all of their powerful units ready to go in that first gun round, including Device and the AWP.
So Electronic pops a flash toward the site. 3 players again in there for Astralis.
And for now, NaVi aren't exactly aware as to whether Astralis bought a bit more. They have to treat this like a gun round. They don't know. No extra grenades were purchased. They're trying to bait out whatever they can now. I'm suggesting that smoke towards coffins, that's not even their cue to go. They're probably just going to be waiting on that just to see what kind of reaction it baits out. As you can see, they're not going to be going off that one. They wanted to see whether it kind of made a footstep or a smoke came through, and it hasn't. And that actually might be detrimental for them because Astralis ain't moving. They've got 3 players ready to go. Molotov's coming in now. Here is the final commitment. Re-smoking towards coffins and Zeus with a nice entry.
Great position. Zeus gets the entry, but Zipex overwhelms them from above, drops down, stays alive, pulls Electronic further into the side, and takes the aggro, but no point of contention for Dupree because he's a smoke down in front of him and couldn't push through to take away the advantage. It is the bomb planted. It is a slim advantage, though, because Simple's on 29, Edward on 25, and it is only 1 man to the better on Navi's side. Magisk tries to make access from CT. Again, Dupree still waits out toward Ruins, but his chances, well, taken away entirely as Electronic finds both. Not bad. 3 kills on the MAC-10, by the way.
Yep, lots of money farmed there for Electronic. That's his actual entry to the game as well. He's on 3 and 1 now, so there we go. It will be the first gun round here, and indeed, Device brings out the AWP. A little bit scary there for Navi. That was definitely looking like it could fall apart, considering a couple of players dinked there, but they managed to hold on. Good entry from Zeus. And first gun round, no bonus potential by the looks of things. They've thrown away the MAC-10, and there will be AKs across the board. Flamey not even investing in flashbangs by the looks of things. He's sticking with smoke and Molotov. So maybe he's going to be trying to save as much money. Maybe he's going to be thrown into a fast tactic here as we enter round number 4. Device is holding towards Arch. Zipex and Glaive patrolling Banana, as you can see there. With the smokes down at the bottom, it's come pretty standard these days. It was quite innovative at the start, but that smoke towards T-steps, the double incendiary, grenades to follow and logs, it's all pretty standard stuff, and so is that as Device waits for the shot towards middle, takes down Flamey, 5 on 4, and you can see him reposition. That's really key. Falls back to a more defensive line as his job is done at this point. Doesn't have to work too hard, set the crossfires up, and use the man advantage.
Device holding near to the smoke. So Astralis looking to get on the board. First gun round. Dupree, speaking of smokes, used a very narrow margin, a gap in his toward the wall to catch out Zeus going toward Cubby. Device can't find the shot toward Quad, but he'll relocate quickly, as Dupree has to be a little bit cautious given how much ammo he's dispelled, but he will relocate toward the library. Electronic, though, his timing is actually not bad here because he's going to beat Dupree in position, who's not going to know that he's there. He will now, but Bomb was already heading back down toward the bottom side of middle. This opens up the option to try and wrap to B through CT spawn, split the site. Given that he only found 1 kill, there's still a man down, however. And Edward on 2 HP. He doesn't want to overcommit to that idea. So back toward A with 28 seconds. 3 AKs. Majisk again, the one to hold inside of pit. Device above on a box with the AWP. He'll wait for them to enter and very cleanly and clearly take down Electronic. I say clearly because no flashes and nothing in his eyes this time either. It's pretty straightforward, but watch out for Simple because he's, again, a man who can turn a situation on its head. Majisk has other ideas, and it takes his head off. 3-1.
11 seconds remaining. Simple left in the 3 versus 1. I dare say if he got that kill in the pit, we could have been onto something. But Device, he played this round perfectly for me. It's one of those really important rounds. It's going to be guaranteeing you an EK if you give it away. So he's making sure he does everything he can to win this round. Some great shots there, but the positioning especially. Got the first kill, fell back towards the bomb site and joined his teammates there, and they made sure they could work off each other. It looked almost impossible for NaVi to break down the defense as they go for an interesting force buy here. A very last-minute decision to actually go for the AKs. It looked like they were just going to have that tactical purchase they were so famous for with Simple, but now they've gone all in. They've got the 4 AKs, and Edward of no utility whatsoever. Zeus and the MAC-10, it's actually pretty good. It's just a very last-minute decision. I don't think they intended originally to go with this, but it's still absolutely fine. 3-1. Big round here. They know if they can take Astralis down in this particular round, that is a harsh reset coming in with all of the extra utility that had to be purchased in this particular round. Edward going for the little spam there. We've seen a few kills in the last few weeks from that particular position. But for now, a slow default, just ascertain information as to whether CTs have banana control, and as you can see, Glaive certainly does. But he has got a UMP, and for now he's alone, but the rotation from Device is coming through, and he's got that big green gun. So watch out for that.
Watch closely as well toward the top side of Banana. Smoke goes down before anyone around the corner. So he won't have the option to fire this time. He'll relocate toward the coffins. That is a terrible smoke on entry, but they will get one in front of Device before he's able to do anything with it. And a second one comes out to cover off. Front wall, good play from Device. Coffin's not covered. He's able actually to walk out. I thought he had way more coverage in front of them, so the smoke has a massive gap, which is a huge problem. They now know Glaive is still toward new box, but they know Zeus is in the corner, and this falls apart for NaVi. That's poor execution.
No one checked new boxes there. That's really quite strange for me. You could see Zeus so focused towards coffins. No one's even checked new boxes. Glaive's there with UMP, missed the first shot, missed the first kill, and still not being looked at. That is bizarre. But either way, it looked like an Astralis round, even from the moment they entered the bomb site there. As Device hitting a fantastic shot on the boosted player there towards first oranges. He actually missed the smoke as they came through. You'd think that maybe would be detrimental, but it allowed them access, and he hits all the shots, so can't be too mad with it. Device with 2, Glaive with 1 of that UMP, and 4 players going down for NaVi. Just Simple saving the AK. They will be eco this round, but Simple with an AK, as you've mentioned a couple of times, he can actually take control of situations himself. Just look at the shot for a second. That is beautiful. And carry the round. This is a round we used to call tactical purchases. If Simple would buy a single AK, his teammates would be eco. You still thought they've got a fighting chance because he can find entries, they get another rifle, and it snowballs from there. All it takes is him just working slowly and trying to find his opening.
Good read and react from Device there as well. Those smokes, there was a poor one on entry, and then a very poor one toward Coffin. Served its purpose so much as pushing the AWP back, but then he instantly, as I say, the read and react, realized that he had room to wiggle, worked back out. Glaive had called that they hadn't really entered the site yet, and hits a splendid shot just inside of the smoke. So Astralis pulling things back in line after a slow start, you could argue. 3-0. Talking things over in spawn.
Not really much to discuss, though. They've got 1 Deagle and that AK, but I guess just discussing with Simple where he thinks he can cause damage. They've been focusing primarily towards B. Maybe that's where they feel like they can challenge, but as usual, Device has changed his position up now. He'll be at Banana solo. That's the first time we've seen him play that position, and that's what top AWPers do. They'll be changing their position pretty much every single round just to keep things unpredictable. He won't be Arch every time, he won't be a Parmans. He'll mix things up, and that allows them to have one player Banana in the form of him, and then 4 towards A, which allows them to have really strong crossfires here. But they may be playing a little bit too aggressively on the CT side, considering they're up against unarmored pistols, but there is always that dangerous AK, so we'll see whether they can hold it off. Coming to the 1 minute mark, it looks like they're posturing themselves back towards B, and as we said, Device is there. I'm not sure he's on the half wall. He's not. So he's just going to be playing right down here, a little bit of a deeper angle. He has got players towards the steps and indeed towards middle, so will he be caught off here?
Smokes himself a little bit deeper, buys him some time. Decent little gap in that, but misjudges when to fire and has to fall back.
Ooh, he'll be in trouble there.
Might. Speaking of fire, that's what he'll use. Throws it deep, forces them toward the cubby position. One's already crossed over. It's Edward that gets a little bit closer. Finally, he'll take down Flamey, which seems apt given the situation and the utility used. 2 HP for Device. Can't really afford to peek beyond the coffin anymore because they can spray through that.
His teammates saved him with that smoke as well. You could see Device was floundering a little bit there, but still he held them off. The good incendiary, that's going to be round guaranteed in my book at this point. We'll see whether Glaive can finish things off in style. There's the bomb going down as Device still alive and kicking here on 2 HP, but that's exactly what it's designed to do. Device gets the information, he's spotting deep. Sure, he probably should have hit at least one of those kills, but they were quite good in terms of baiting out shots of his. He falls back and he drops that incendiary at the last possible second. He wants to buy as much time as he can. Sure, he could have run it through the half wall, but they'll run through it and they'll probably catch him on the side. But he drops it right at the mouth of the bomb side there. It's such a wide open area. They really can't justify pushing 5 players through that, especially without armor. They'll just melt. So he holds them off. He doesn't find all the kills, but he stays alive, keeps the AWP up, so that's absolutely fine. And we go into another very awkward situation here. Remember, Simple saving that AK got no money, Matt. So he's on a Deagle, 3 AKs, and a MAC-10. It really isn't looking too good, especially when your superstar player only has the pistol, but he has done some pretty unspeakable things with Deagles before. I'm sure he can do them again.
So Zeus and Electronic. Nice shot by Simple. Deagle in hands, you said it, can do unspeakable things. Device goes down at the top of middle, and it's finally a sustainable pick for NaVi to work with. Still, though, with the 3 AKs as well. Glaive gets ready once more. Late smoke just barely catches Zeus in time because he was trying to bypass that smoke and get position onto Glaive. Gun wasn't quite at the ready, but makes good on it. Pacifics, he'll chime in, take down Zeus the rest of the way, allowing him, with confidence, to walk back through the smoky coffin, and the two of them converge together. Edward gets a shot back, but round should be over. 49 seconds, bombs thrown forward inside of the site. I say should be over. There's 2 there. Chance if they find one more pick with these 2 AKs, they can actually potentially get a bomb down before the rotation does arrive. It's Magisk. He's trying to get back over. That's the kill. Oh, bomb's a little further than I thought, so I take back what I said. I thought it was just actually at the mouth of the entrance towards CT. Good awareness immediately by Dupree to fall back, identify that, and they can sit and cover the angles.
There we go, a real chance here for NaVi. Still to plant the bomb, though. That's a problem. It's in an awkward position, and Dupree is completely out of position. Edwards here, no chance of him going down. That should be the round. Flamey now with 13 HP, 13 seconds, and the bomb's still down. No chance of planting it. I think he's just going to try and save the AK here. It's holding in the corner, and that's all he really can do. So decent attempt here, but Dupree is on the prowl. Waiting, he's probably going to go down here, he has no idea. Flamey's waiting for him, but my goodness, that almost fell apart. I missed first bullet, could have spelled disaster with a pillar in front of him, but still absolutely fine. Again though, Matt, Flamey now gets no money, the same situation they were in before with Simple, so they really need to work out how they're going to start stabilizing things. Great shot from Simple, of course. He said that Deagle could be problematic for Astralis. It comes down to 2 versus 1 in the end, so it's an expensive round. And are they forced buying again here? That is the question. I can see some purchases coming through. They're down about $1,000 right now. And no, they are just going to go for the partial buy, knowing they've got maximum loss bonus next round. But that's the story in itself. That's going to be 5 rounds in a row. And NaVi have given up in the first half.
And speaking of forced buying and tactics, Henry, it won't cost you $1,000 on a forced buy, but they've waited for us to arrive to get this major started, and for $9.99, not recurring payment, you can actually get the major FACEIT Major Premium Pass on Twitch. It gives you VODs, interactive HUD, you can check out every single player's POV, access to VODs more specifically after the matches, which are exclusive content. So, and all you have to do for it is go to twitch.tv, FACEIT Major Premium _ and the number of the respective player that is on the minimap. So Electronic in this case would be number 1, 2 Simple, all the way through to Magisk and Zipix, which would be 9 and 0. And effectively 10, but 0. And that's how it would stack up. So you can check that out at FACEITMajor.com. Premium pass. I talked about this round because I say it was going to be with pistols and perhaps not exciting. I take that back. The two men who are often the protagonists for NaVi find kills. Simple on a Deagle and Flamey to follow up on an AK. Magisk does respond from the pit. Has got a little bit of room to work as the flames go down to his left. He'll smoke himself off and cover the fact that Electronic wants inside with him, but he's not read the wall correctly. Fires just beside of you, and though he saw him go down, and now desperately goes to a knife, has to back away, and he's got to get a reload in there on the M4 at some point. Electronic makes good on the position in a very awkward exchange, and Astralis suddenly find themselves a man down and around that could tie the game. Bomb already planted. Keep in mind, it's Simple sneaking beside the smoke to get Zipix.
Well, it looks like they've stolen the round away here. Glaive will fight tooth and nail on the bomb side, but time ticking away. Still 2 players to find. He has got the kit, but only 35 HP. Edges towards the apartments. Great attempt there from Glaive. Made it very expensive in the end, but it doesn't matter. Remember, that was just a partial buy from NaVi, and Astralis tasting the bullets of Simple's Desert Eagle at the very start. It was that first kill, this one especially. My God, Device playing an off angle there. He's holding deep around the corner to stop that happening, but Simple's just too fast, it seems, as he completely destroys the entire CT side. And here's Electronic, who jumped in the pit with the AWP on his back. That, for me, was a questionable move, but he managed to survive, find the kill eventually, so it was absolutely fine. And we'll go 4-4, and I think we might have a game on our hands.
Just to clarify as well, it's FACEITMajor.com/premium-pass. I said premium pass.
Okay.
Some people are probably looking for it, a little bit lost, but that sounds like a pretty sweet deal. Sweet deal as well. Tactical purchase pays off. NaVi's back in the game. They'll have guns up. Keep in mind they kept it down to a 2 versus 1 in the previous round as well, so the money's starting to get a little bit dire on the Astralis side. CT side as well. You break them here, NaVi, with the 3 rounds to start this off in the pistol. You break them and then go to 5 rounds, potentially 6. You've got a game for NaVi.
This is the pivotal moment in the map. Remember, best of 1 here in this stage of the Major. See your pick and predictions there. 58% in favor of Astralis. I think that's about right. Maybe NaVi will be able to get back into this one. We'll have a look. Device back on the AWP. For now, he'll be heading towards Banana. I'm not sure he's going for the same solo play he was before. 4 players waiting at the bottom by T-steps. That grenade's going to do a boatload of damage towards Simple. Oh my goodness, down to 21 HP. Really did feel that one. Astralis HE usage has been fantastic this year. They really have to find how, especially maps like Inferno, should be played. We've still got 3 smokes on the CT side. Device looking for a bit more information now as he might have a look around the corner. Oh my God, he survives. Fully blind map. Falls back, fires off a speculative shot, hits it, and falls back. That's pretty insane by him.
Falling away. 10 HP on the AWP is Simple, and Device, you're right, has answered the call because Simple was starting to look like he was coming alive in this game. 2 Deagle kills in the last 2 rounds, and the last round certainly very influential. More than that overall by the end of the round, but to start it off, it was the hand cannon. Back through the holes of the apartments. It's Electronic and Edward to work together. Magisk again has to play off pit, and Dupree will be the man down below him in mini. He has to watch when they drop. He just doesn't want to peek too early. Dupree gets the shot at Edward. They now know he's there. That's Magisk's call to action. He goes back out, checks quad, allows Dupree a better position, but 10 HP for Simple on the AWP against Glaive. It's got to be Zeus that opens the site, and I say that. He nearly does. Found Dupree, but the response was swift. Those two playing off each other, Magisk and Dupree very well in the pit.
3-on-1, Simple. Not really much to do here. Very similar situation they've had in previous rounds. And will be out of time and out of luck by the looks of things, as he's only got 10 HP remaining. As he holds towards Boiler, he's waiting for CT mistakes here. He knows he can't win the round at this point. Astralis will take back the lead, of course, 5-4 in their favor. Simple again gets no money, but remember they won a partial buy before, so it's not completely as destructive. Oh my goodness, what happened there? Device score here. It's not as detrimental as it would have been, I should say. Simple still got 4k, even though he got no cash in that round. It saves the AWP as well. I dare say they buy up around this one, Matt, and see what they can do about it. I am seeing some CZs purchased. 1 AK as well, all in. Everyone going to get stuck into this one. Zeus yet to buy. He's got the P250 armor at the end. There we go. Simple with his work cut out for him here. He's got the AWP. He needs to find Device nice and early if he can. Starting to head towards Banana at the very start. The standard incendiary towards T-steps to stop any fast terrorist presence at the very start of the round. And you can see the standard smokes, incendiaries to stop the rush as well. HE's going in towards logs. No real damage done just yet. Electronic takes a bullet. As they spam through the smoke, Simple waiting for his chance to strike.
So I believe this time to be the one on the aggression. Big round again for Astralis in the last to make sure that they secured money, secured the situation. It is crazy that on day one of the Legends stage, we get team number 1 and 2 respectively in the world playing off of each other. Keep in mind that that is only possible because all the Legends respectively play off against the new challengers.
Yep.
Astralis is one of those, given Cloud9's run at the incredible E-League victory that they picked up earlier in the year. So they actually knocked them out in group stages there, believe it or not.
It's a mad world we live in.
It is, yes.
That is what happened.
All
now
around me are familiar faces.
And now you look at Cloud9's current complexion coming into this major. What a turnaround that's been like in terms of going from the champions, probably not even the conversation to win this one. You know, it's kind of strange how Counter-Strike can turn on a dime like that. But either way, 30 seconds now, as remember, this is the force buy from NaVi. Perfect incendiary there from Dupree. That's going to buy Magisk a boatload of time here. And the bomb goes down. They're looking very comfortable. They've got a great setup on the A side. Magisk especially, always such a safe pair of hands in that pit area. I don't think there's any chance. I think he'll save that AWP again. Electronic will have a desperate push solo towards the A side there. And Simple again has to save the AWP. No real choice. But just a fall back, and he might not even survive here. He knows he has to fight a little bit, so he's going to go for his first kill. Probably drop back and reposition.
Ooh, I thought he hit that.
It seems like the sort of shot he normally would. And just to note as well, Astralis don't want to go for double AWPs here. They have experimented with Dupree as the main AWPer. They've experimented with Dupree as the secondary AWPer. It just doesn't seem to work for them. They're better off with this. This is what they know. It works. But they're going to stick with it, it looks.
Yeah, I think that could be a potential weakness in certain situations, not having a double up, especially on a map like Inferno. You get onto a map like Cash.
Yeah.
But again, it's
Train especially.
Yeah, Train's actually a good point. I always think of Cash as the double op map, but you're right, Train's really good. Every map has potential for it, with the exception of, I would argue, Nuke to some extent.
Yeah, Nuke, yeah, that's spot on. Yeah.
But it is something they're choosing not to do. Remember, you go back to certain teams, Fnatic, they used to try and run 5 rifles on this map all the time too. So there is options.
No, absolutely. It is always going to be a slight weakness. You don't have the option for something that's very viable, but at the same time, it's not a huge deal. Like Astralis have a major under their belt. They're considered the best team in the world. Obviously, you don't need 2 AWPs. But either way, and this is the eco. Remember, the force buy did not work out. Simple, once again, went with almost no cash into this round. He's got $200 right now as he keeps surviving and not doing a whole lot with it, apart from saving the rifle previously. Same story, but actually died in the end as well. So Glock, oh, they're stabbing each other as well.
He did not expect him to be there. Simple's even just stopped. Oh, look, they're staring at each other.
They're going mad.
Oh, man. He's pissed about that.
Edward's like, I'm so sorry, boss. Please.
please don't knife me in real life after the game.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
Why does Edward look so distraught with this? Oh, they're not having a laugh. They're actually having a proper argument.
I'm going to suspect something. I'm going to suspect that they're not arguing about that. It may have been triggered from that, but there's probably more going on there than just... If they're arguing that much over a simple knife, that's concerning to me.
It is cool to have the player cams like that so we can actually see the live reactions, because that was quite a weird moment. It happens way too often in Pro CS, stabbing your teammates, but either way, Device should be able to hold on to this one. Doesn't have to challenge again. Minecraft's getting a little bit dicey, but Magisk holds on, and he'll find 3 kills. Bomb down, Simple, no armor, Desert Eagle once again. He hasn't been hit by the enemy, just his teammates have stabbed him in the back. So 74 HP.
Stabbed him in the face, pretty much.
Yeah.
Straight up the stairs.
Look, what's he up to? Yeah. Hello?
They're
trying to do the timer again.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, I was just looking at the time too. No, 2 seconds. Okay. That freezes.
They were just looking at him.
This is actually a really cool detail, actually.
Yeah.
So it freezes the time that was left in the round when it concludes on the FACEIT HUD.
That's right,
it froze at 2 seconds. So they didn't quite get it. That is what they were trying to do, despite Simple's best efforts to die.
That's really smart, though, isn't it? If you have to give 1 CT up, you just like, Simple hasn't got money again. Yeah. That's perfect, and you should keep doing that. It's a really smart idea, actually. And Simple's got a UMP, the rest of his teammates on AKs. Okay, we've talked about this before. It was a bit of a meme for a while on Reddit. You got the world's best fragger with rifles. Should he be the one with the UMP, considering his teammate Edward is 2-9, Flame is 2-9, he's 10-6, maybe giving them more powerful weapons, but hey, it's their team, it's their decisions. Let them get on with it. Either way, it will be Glaive pushing down towards the bottom of Banana there. You are going to see bare bones utility from NaVi. 2 smokes, and They are finding at least trades here as they make their way towards Arch. It could be a banana split by the looks of things as the bomb starts to head towards CT spawn, but they are holding up now, just waiting for any sort of reaction here from the CTs. And Zipex watching the speedway like a hawk here.
Good shot, Flamey. He might have been watching it like a hawk, but it's cut off. Glaive now has to guess which way they're coming from. He anticipates both. Doesn't quite get the shot lined up onto Zeus. That's going to open up the wrap toward B spawn. Or excuse me, B spawn. Through spawn to B. That kind of works. To get the bomb plant. So this opens up NaVi in a splendid 4 versus 2, and finally the 5th round hits the charts. It's actually not a bad position to be in on Inferno, despite some of the complications in economy that they have had throughout this half, and some of the arguments we've seen them have, whether or not I think that was probably about more than just that simple knife, but it's now 2 rounds between them, and it's fine enough for Astralis, but it's still a question of getting into round 15 and having a full buy left over or not. I'm just seeing what they purchase here. Yeah, no, they're not going to have one. They'll be able to force it best. So if NaVi pick this up, there's a chance they can bring this half back.
There's always a chance, but Astralis, you are right, on the ropes now financially. Great round from NaVi there. Nice little slow default, managed to get a kill towards the Arctic, we said, traded it out, and just held up. They realized that the Astralis boys would react and hold CT spawn. Nailed the shots, Flaming with 2, just after I call them out, of course, and they'll be able to run over the B side, took everyone down in their path as well, with almost no utility available to them in round number 12. Orpid device this time, still at Banana. Not overcommitting, just waiting by the half wall just behind it on the corner, seeing if anyone dares challenge him. As the flashbang comes in again, might fire off the shot once more, this time not connecting with the target.
Zeus checks behind the sandbags, clears out Banana. That gives them the position and the space required, the security, I guess you could call it, to align smokes, get ready for execution. Still simple watching behind them, waiting for their teammate and Edward to get closer. So full execution on B. 1 man in the site only, and the next closest is on Speedway, and the man in the site, Tippin's completely blind, smoked off his glaive, but he still manages, with a bit of luck, to be precise, to find Electronic, and very well done, and struck back. He gives them the advantage, despite that they've lost the site. That is a tremendous job, being smoked off, Molotovs through, pushes and gets a kill.
It's a ballsy one, but it definitely works out for him. It's going to be a 4 versus 3 now. 1 kit available, Device waiting for his chance of the AWP on the railings. They can't really push forward until that smoke's down. They will throw a smoke in turn back towards Banana, flash through, and really have to get their skates on right now as time is ticking away.
Shot Flamey takes out Majewski's following it up. Simple now left behind the pillar, has the advantage because of his teammates' good work, although Dupree's able to push him out, take him down low enough and get the kill. Smoke to cover it off, can't stick the plan, but knows that Edward thinks that he will, given the tap, given the fake, but looks for the kit. I don't think he's got the time, so it's going to go 7-6, and Dupree does stay alive only just. He'll keep it AK-47, picks up a kit that's well removed, but at least a little bit more utility to carry over because, again, money starts to be a problem for Astralis.
It's looking quite promising now for NaVi. Those last couple of chance rounds, remember the 4 spy of no utility, it works out for them, and that 1 versus 1 of Edward and Dupree time works in their favor. Flamey starting to come online now, Matt. That's good news for NaVi. He looked very absent in the first 6 rounds or so, but now on 6 and 10, some very high impact kills. Last round got 2, then 2 as well. So manages to get himself right back in the game and actually leave NaVi in a very promising situation. This is likely to be 7-7 and maybe even steal the half away in round number 15. Looking absolutely fantastic in that respect. So there will be a tactical timeout here. I can confirm Astralis are going to buy at least. Glaive has gone for the UMP armor. They've got the AK, right? And their money still isn't going to be amazing next round. So they thought, well, no, let's try and see what we can do here. Magisk will have 3,700, Zipex with 3k. So is everyone going all in? Time will tell. 13 seconds remaining now as they discuss their options. See Zipex discussing with the in-game leader Glaive as they work out the best possible approach here. USP still on Magisk and Zipex. Do they want to purchase anything else? There it is. The FAMAS, the UMP, opting for a bit more utility. It's not the worst buy, all things considered. That 1 AK really does boost their chances, and Dupree probably has to work a little bit harder for a frag here as he sets up with a flashbang towards middle. No one there at the bottom. It will be Glaive to push Banana and try and get towards the logs.
It's there as well with the 2 smokes toward those logs, but no further action as of yet. Zeus still just holding off toward the mid-stairs. The rest of his team toward... Oh, this is interesting. Toward alt middle, and I think Zeus ran a little bit early. It's hard to say. I don't know exactly where it was that he started running based on the minimap, but he might have just been inside the noise range of what Glaive can hear. Now, the reason I mention this is because as soon as it happened, Zipix got a little bit closer inside of Banana. I thought maybe they were going to try and push down and flank them. It does look as though Glaive is interested in doing so. The problem is that in the time they took to think about that, they've already conceded 1 kill to Magisk. That's your pit player over on A. Zeus doesn't quite spot Glaive to catch him out in Banana because that would be cue to rush that direction.
Astralis now, not really much to work with here as Zipex will make his way towards the arch. Dupree, remember, with that AK-47, he holds on the side. Glaive converts the kill towards B. That's Edward going down, but very quickly, Electronic and Flamey will find a couple of frags here. That should be the round. I dare say they'll save the UMPs as they move into the final round of the half. Zipex, though, not thinking about that. He tried to challenge towards the arch side, and Glaive now with an impossible task as he goes towards Library. He just wants to upgrade to an AK at this point, I think. Even get a kill, get $600 in the bag, steal the AK away. That's about as good as it's going to get for him as NaVi tie things up after 3 really excellent last few rounds. They've actually looked very good in terms of individual prowess. Haven't seen too much exciting from a tactical point of view. It's been quite a standard game. Glaive a little bit unfortunate there. Sprays in the back. Flamey completely turns around and eviscerates him. So great stuff from him. Flamey really looking sharp in the last 3. As we'll find ourselves in round 15 here. Here's Edward getting it done. Not a bad shot to open things up. Electronic always known to have very crisp aim. Same story for Flamey. You can see them just going through the motions here just to get it all done. There we go. And will be the final round of the first half. And NaVi finishing on 5 AK-47s. Hasn't necessarily been the simple show. He's got a decent couple of rounds under his belt, but hasn't been all him. CZs and an MP9 for the CTs finish things off. 3 players to push towards the B side of the map. And Major might be going down here, but instead survives. But surely will be dropped by Electronic, and indeed he will. There's the first kill for the T side. And now they can confirm they're up against pistols and SMGs. Don't need to do anything too much. I think that B commitment at the start was a little bit aggressive, all things considered, but overall, a trade certainly favours the T's. And Edward now looking to dissect the boiler room. Electronic might find himself a little bit compromised here. They push towards him, but well held. Manages to push one back, and his teammate will go back to the B site as well.
One teammate, that is. Bomb still down bottom side of middle. Good response from Flame to get device. That was an AK picked up, and good read to catch out Dupree working down behind him to try and trade it back the other direction. So this round going NaVi's way, surely. At 8-7 at the end of a T-sided half on Inferno, it's pretty damn good. They did win the pistol in 3 rounds, but they controlled the half. They pulled it back in their favor, and there was potential at, I think it was 4-1, that they could have broke, excuse me, it was at 5-4 that they could have broken Astralis a little bit earlier. I just had to look back at the money chart, but that's pretty good. 8-7, and now over to the CT side.
Not bad at all. They actually steal the half away. Remember, they got the pistol, then they lost, what, 7 rounds pretty much in a row. They had 1 in the middle where they actually managed to get it together, but the last 4 was all theirs. It all came from that little force buy with the AKs, no utility whatsoever, and actually looked pretty decent towards the end there. Impressed with Flamey's resurgence, was on 2-9 at one point, finished the half on 11-10. Second half begins, and I'm sure Astralis will use every second available to them to discuss how they can win this pistol. If the matchup is number 1 and number 2 in the world map, one of them winning both pistols is obviously going to be very influential on the winner. So I feel like Astralis know they need a pistol here, and we'll see whether they can pull it off. The buys are coming through. Device with the P250. Glocks there, of course, with 2 smokes, a Molotov, 3 sets of armor. So looking at that buy, with no HE grenade, that's it. It's to be an A-sided attack, and the Molotov we use for post-plant or maybe to flush out the pit when they want to commit.
Zeus toward the top of the stairs at Boiler. He'll fall back on it. It's Flamey that waits toward the archway with with USP. So they're getting more and more passive on the NaVi side, but in doing so, they have 4 players on the A site. So keep that in mind. Crossfires, therefore, become very promising. Forces Electronic's hands. He's going to get a kill before going down. Stays in the flames. Nearly gets away with the second one as well before Zipix can capitalize. But here we go. This is exactly it with the stack. Simple! Uncharacteristic to miss shots that close. And suddenly the round turns, and it's Astralis that have a 2-on-1 versus Edward. But look at the HP. Bomb's not yet planted. He knows it. He's going to try and capitalize. He's got the call that the damage was done, but Dupree perfect with his gun, makes it 8-8.
I really feel like Edward could have done a bit more with that. He probably had the information they were low and goes barreling in. I guess the idea once the bomb was being planted, at least it segregates them. One will be out of the equation while he can focus on the other, but ultimately just made a lot of noise. Probably better off walking around the corner and trying to find the first kill like that. It was just a little bit too obvious, even with the HP. They're smart enough to position themselves into an advantageous situation. So there we go. It will be Astralis picking up the pistol round, and we have a bit of a weird start here in the round. I'm assuming this is going to be a restart.
Yeah, this doesn't look like it's anyone sitting around tactically. Now, Edward does. He's got his hand on chin. He's been pretty chill and spawn a few times. Now he is pressing buttons. Yeah, okay. There we go. Quick restart.
Indeed.
It looked like Edward was actually just chilling because I didn't see him doing anything at the start of the round. But the fact that both teams were doing it, pretty obvious.
Well, there we go. NaVi presumably get a force by hit. Just to note, they don't actually have to. Most maps you'd consider like a 12-3, a huge score going into it. But if you win the T side, I don't think you've got pressure now to force by every single round in best of one. I feel like they could have just taken Deagle, no armor. They will indeed go all in. Like they're a team that's been notorious for force buys ever since their inception, so it's fair enough. That's their playstyle. I just think statistically, if you're looking at this game, I would go for the Deagle, no armor and save the money for the gun rounds. We've already done the hard work, as it were. As the grenades come through, will be Zeus to swallow one. He'll be down to 55 HP. And Astralis have a full banana control now. Only one player waiting on the other side. It's the aforementioned Zeus with low HP. We'll see whether him and his 5-7 can do anything to hold them off. If he goes down with nothing, I can guarantee they'll just be saving the rest of their pistols here. Good smoke from him. He buys himself some time.
Decent smokes both ways. Pretty straightforward to line up, but Zeus's is less common, so credit to him for not leaving a gap. However, Majisk still finds him as he jumps through with the MAC-10. Edward tries desperately to fire from CT spawn with no luck on a CZ. Bomb to be planted, and Astralis should be able to control the situation with the single kill so far. And much as we saw from Astralis in the first half, they're also going to elect to save on the CT side. This time, more appropriately so, given that Flamey does have a UMP, but there's armor on electronic as well. Smokes, if you want to count it all, Henry. If we don't want to leave anything out, CZs, Deagles, all that.
All of it. Oh, look at this positioning from Device. He is on the prowl. He wants to find these remaining CT players. He doesn't care if it'll cost him his SMG. Into the library he goes, and I don't think he's returning the book. Doesn't even want to enter.
Don't think he reads.
Maybe not. It is a very tight choke point. And then that's why he's pretty fine in those corners. He knows he could be in a bit of trouble. Just communicating to each other there through the gunshots, letting them know that he's there. He was trying. But they save pistols there. It's absolutely fine. There were CZs, a UMP, a Deagle as well. So they get another go here. Pretty much exactly what we saw in the first half. 9-8. Astralis take it back. They should be good for a 3-0 here, but you never know. Simple's Deagle. I'll say that again.
Pass on right, Edward.
Yeah, you do, don't you? That is the rule. Anyone who's not aware what that means, in spawn, just always look to your right and move to your right when you move, so you won't bump into each other. That's a good rule of thumb for everyone. So every matchmaking game, every FACEIT game you play,
pass on right.
No one's going to be bumping into each other.
We used to always type LO3 and POR as a joke.
We never typed it, but I always got angry, especially in like big games, if people forget to do that. It's like, what are you doing? Come on. Not now. Don't ruin my mid spawn.
Yeah, that'd be the worst. Yeah. Simple. Ooh, good shot. Goodness gracious. Comes around the corner and Glaive gone. Might do it again as well. Oh, same. More similar angle, I should say, but couldn't quite collect this time nonetheless. NaVi with the opening killing. Good starts. 50 HP left for Simple. A little bit of blood left on the wall. It's fine. He doesn't need a band-aid. It's not that much blood. My flash from Majisk back toward the pit and allows Zipix in. Smoke down nade. The reticle, or rather, I shouldn't say reticle, the particles of the nade combined with the edge of the smoke, and he failed to see Simple in the corner. It's suddenly causing the round to fall apart because bomb is down. Dupree has to go back for it in a 1 versus 4, 35 seconds to work with. AK in hand, more so than any weapons on the opposing side, but they're going to bait each other into it. Electronic tries to give himself up and allow his teammates to get the kill. He just goes straight in and gets it himself.
Very slow approach from Astralis, and it's certainly punished there. One by one, they are gunned down. It's the Simple Deagle. Once again, he didn't even have armor. He just kept finding kills. As Electronic joined in as well. Nice little cheeky angle there with the CZ to look towards the pit. You can see one by one, not necessarily anything done particularly wrong there by Astralis, just a bit unlucky with the opening jewels, but NaVi looking excellent there with the pistols. Huge round for them to win, but not out of the woods just yet. Astralis still have enough residual cash to get 4 AKs, a UMP, a decent amount of utility as well, and aggression here from the CTs. They want to control Banana. You can see Simple there, ready with the flashbang. Whether they want to challenge is another question altogether. Good little sequence of events there from NaVi. Grenade does connect towards Device, down to 53 HP, and they'll fall back here. Zeus at least will go back towards the A site. They'll boost up Edward, and Simple's out of there as well. So a lot of confidence here. The idea behind it is they showed so much presence there. Obviously, only each CT can hold 1 HE grenade, right? They threw 3 at the start. Suggests there's at least 3 players here at the beginning, probably 2 once we get into the round. So they've left Edward there for now. Simple does rotate back over. Got an inkling they'll be showing themselves towards this side of the map. B bomb site. Simple and Edward both in spawn. Simple might cross over towards the site, but it's a very strong setup to have 1 boosted there. Simple wants to show as much presence as possible and essentially just bait Edward in. As you can see, he wants to make it clear that he's in this position, but Edward drops off and they're letting the big boy get up there. Fair enough.
Backs off of it though. Big boy's going to rotate around to the coffins. Astralis picking up pistol, but conceding an earlier round than their opponents did on their respective T side. Find themselves in an awkward position, but a good stance inside of the site. Smoke goes down, but Jisk's able to find out where Edward had gone, and Dupree puts the bomb perfectly positioned into default. That might be the signaling already, and NaVi is going to agree. They'll concede, they want weapons.
I think just doubting themselves then, NaVi. Didn't look like they were comfortable with the setup at all when the final commitment came in from Astralis. They had a player boosted up. I actually liked that. I thought if Simple just fired off some shots through the smoke as they were coming in, it would be enough to take the attention away. At least good enough for 1 kill. Instead of dropping off and getting almost nothing for that, they didn't get a single kill at all. At least a trade would have made this possible. So doubting themselves, maybe the communication was a bit off. I'm not sure. We have seen them almost bickering in the bottom left of your screen at some points, but that's a big round for Astralis, bouncing back from the defeat to the pistols in the previous. But remember, NaVi winning the pistol, well, winning with pistol I should say previously, they will still have plenty of cash with 4 weapons saved over, so they're still relatively healthy here. But Astralis, 1 step closer now as they hit double digits first, 10-9. Inferno, considered a CT-sided map for sure, but NaVi making a little bit of a meal of this so far. They are 3-1 down in the second half. The reset not too detrimental, as we said. Flame will have the AWP. He's actually the secondary AWP of this squad, but he'll be the primary, it seems, around number 20 here. Where he'll be hitting. He's going towards the arch side. Doesn't want to fully commit. Jumps over towards Boiler. Does it go any further than this? Have a look.
Flamey. Try and find some position with the AWP toward Boiler, so the aggressive op, but not yielding any success. Instead, though, Zeus wants to go aggressive in Banana and gets caught out. Pre-fired the angle, tried to bait Device in. Certainly, Device was up for the challenge and gets away with the opening kill yet again for Astralis. So Flamey backs off, can't afford to stay aggressive with the AWP on the respective position that he was in. Opposite side of the map, and goes to quad instead. It's a 2-2 split. Although they're leading the bases, as Electronic wants to try and work his way toward Banana, or excuse me, not Banana, toward, in some ways toward Banana, but Speedway, toward B. Get a little bit closer to his teammates, who are going for the boost. You love this boost, Henry, because it puts you above utility.
It really does. It's good to throw it in every now and then, maybe twice a half, if not more. It means you can avoid sometimes the Molotovs, the flashbangs especially, and Edward will be set up first, but it's Simple getting it done from the back there. Edward does go down, but it's not before finding a couple of kills. 2 versus 1, looking very good for the CTs here. 35 seconds remaining. Oh, missed shot though, that could cost them.
That's massive, because he's got time. Xyp9x can run this. He thought about going that way. He's a bit lucky that he actually sold this, because Flamey could have easily picked him off getting toward the spawn from the backside of the ruins. But now that he's there, Flamey smartly switches over to an AK, realizes the situation, and tries to get on his horse immediately. Xyp9x plants open toward Library and smokes off that angle. Now, how aggressive does Flamey get? Because if he pushed the smoke immediately, he may have caught Xyp9x climbing up inside of the apartments, but instead that position is beautiful from Xyp9x's perspective.
You are now witnessing clutch perfection here from Xyp9x. Not only does he book it out with 2 kills to his name already, that smoke buys him so much time. Now where could he be? Graveyard, pit, bomb site, apartments, quads? Take your pick, Flamey, because you have not got a lot of time now as he comes in towards the site. Zipex doesn't even need to peek until he touches the bomb. He could just win this by being AFK at this point, making so much noise. That's going to be round. Flamey, after missing that shot, a very important one, will get a consolation frag. He might not even survive this, just about on the pits. But overall, that missed shot with the AWP map, that cost him everything. Zipex wins the round.
And Zipex identified it too. He was looking to Coffins to take that fight. The second the shot missed, he was like, hang on, I'll just kill this guy with a rifle beside me and we're out of here.
Yep, indeed. Like, obviously, the Orb's got a 1.5 second reset on the next shot. He realized that information with the smoke down as well. The Orb would have to fall back, kills his teammate, makes it somehow through CT spawn to the other bomb site. But once he dropped that smoke, that was a changing point.
It was even an afterthought for him to look at the ruins door like, please don't shoot me.
Yeah.
Please let me get by.
Indeed. Well, there it is. Still very expensive round for them. But over on the T side, they've obviously still got a full buy. CT side to be whittled down somewhat. Simple with the AWP, presumably salvaged by Flamey at the end there. This could be very indicative as to where the game's finishing up, because we're getting to the bookend now, and as you can see, money running down. Astralis looking for their 12th round. NaVi's still competitive in this one, though. They still have a kit, some utility, Electronic on the SMG, and Simple with an AWP. It's not too bad. Flamey actually kept the AK, just to note, so they actually bought the AWP into this round. So there we go. Money was actually okay, but this will be very difficult to recover from if they give this round up, especially on that CT side. B execution looking likely from the Danes. Still got the majority of their smoke to even bait out a reaction here with one of them. We'll see if they want to experiment with that a little bit as they start to line up. Here we go then. Edward boosted again. Remember, this is what let them down before. They were a little bit apprehensive to really commit to it. Simple throws the HE, peeks behind it. No one there to receive.
It was Simple that was boosted last time as well on the M4. And you're right, he was hesitant and backed off it at the exact second they entered, which cost them. Smokes go down, flashes as well. Oh, missed a shot from Simple this time. Gets baited out the second one. So 2 shots on the AWP missing, and then a flash thrown. He's got to give up position. Glaive takes the helm. They aren't committing to this, however. They've still got bomb toward the mid-position. Device getting Flamey. Glaive gets Edward and opens up options on both sides of the map. And if Device wants to hold off the arch, it's going to completely leave B wide open.
Oh, what?
Simple. This is a horrible round. 3 shots missed. Second one was a fair enough, a decent shoulder peek, although there was still a broad target, and that one was just a clean miss.
Yeah, well, not looking his best in the second half, I have to say. It wouldn't have won them the round, but still, him going down is always going to be a bit of a problem. The AWP is recovered, though, by Electronic, I'll say that much. Zeus holding the graveyard now. They've got to hold on to their weapons. Remember, as I mentioned, this is breaking point now, and I think Astralis, they could justify a couple of guys hunting for at least one of these kills, but very strong positions at this point. AWP in the pits, the other player in towards the graveyard. They're definitely going for it. Will they be able to find the frags? That is another question. Oof, now Electron giving up his position. I don't think he'll be long for this world. He'll have one nice shot there, maybe another. Punish him, Glaive. There we go.
I thought he might get him through the wall there. He didn't do the first damage, though. If the first one had a hit, I would have just kept spamming and eventually get it. But you're right, long for this world gone, AWP gone, money gone, Astralis running away with it. This is not the formation, or at least standard procedure, of what we would have expected for Astralis win this game starting out on the CT side.
Indeed.
And losing at 8-7.
Yeah, no, NaVi looked great towards the end of the first half. Can't take anything away from their individual performances towards those last 4. It wasn't looking good structurally, but when Flamey started to hit everything, and then Electronic joined in as well, it started to get very interesting indeed. Just to know, Matthew, I don't like to point out this too much. Edward 4-17, not really ideal. As you can see in the screens right now, a player that's definitely had his controversy within this squad. Zeus 7-14, and at the top, Electronic 18-12. Simple 15, Flamey 14, then it's Device at the very top for Astralis there. 19 kills and 11 deaths. Dupree next to him on 13, Device putting on a bit of a clinic. Zipex at the bottom on double digits. So there we go. Remember, Zipex did win that almighty clutch to really light the fire beneath Astralis. So that was huge for them. Frags and charts aren't everything, but certainly give you a guide as to who's performing and who's not. Haven't really seen too much from Edward in terms of high impact, but still has a chance to turn it around. The pause comes in. Presumably has to be the full eco here. Flamey's got $4,300, so he could invest in Deagles perhaps. Haven't bought anything just yet as the timeout comes to an end. Looking good for Astralis so far, but it all can fall apart very quickly, especially on Inferno. As we enter round number 22, coming to the last few sectors now of this best of 1. Legends, Matt.
Legends indeed. This is it. Top 16. We hit Wembley next week. Well, I guess week and a half, if you
Yes.
will, the end of next week.
It's a long, grueling event.
Glaive, meanwhile, already taking the approach toward the top side of Banana, spots his arm just in time because he nearly looked away from it, and that would have given Edward the invitation to fire at his backside. So now Flamey and Simple have to hold off inside of the B site. Boost up for Electronic. He'll start a crossfire. They've got everyone there, 2 towards CT. No commitment yet, though, from Astralis. Minute and 15, and looking like they are in control, or at least comfortable in their situation. No investigation or evaluation yet of the A site. I make mention of that because they are heading that direction, and they do need to do that so as not to walk into the stack. I say that, and then I see 3 players and 2 falling off of A. They're accumulating 2 walk into the stack. This could work out for NaVi still. They haven't done enough.
Sure, but remember, there is going to be a plethora of smokes, Molotovs coming in. They have nothing to hold them off with. They have nothing to block vision and stop trades. So sure, you're going to walk in there and you're going to find 4. If they had a smoke maybe and a flash, I'd say
sure. Yeah, to discombobulate more than anything.
so
Dupree. Okay, this is it. This is what I would much rather see.
Yes.
Dupree goes and clears the A site. Let's avoid any chance. You're right. It wasn't. They were still definitely outweighed. But let's avoid any chance of giving it away.
No, absolutely. If Dupree's called A-Side's clear, boys, you might want to come down and check it out because you're right, sure, they probably still win the round, but they definitely lose players in the process. Might lose Magiska. He's being a little bit overwhelmed. What's he got left? Got an HE and a smoke, but still 2 kills, and now Zupixman has denied them picking up the AK here. He doesn't necessarily have to kill both of them, but it looks like he might just do that anyway. Simple, 17 HP. 1 player goes down. Pretty efficient round from Astralis, and now it's really do or die time in this particular best of 1 for NaVi. 39 down, but remember on the CT side, they can still recover this. It's not a problem. They know they're capable of it. At one point, I would say this is their absolute best map in the pool.
Sure. This is where it starts, though, to me. I mean, this, if you go 14-9, the way that Astralis are playing, I'm convinced that they can find 2 rounds over that much of a spread. If they win it here and they start to limit the money of the T side because it's not built up tremendously well as of yet on the Astralis side, then you might actually be right. Yes, they certainly can do it.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It all starts with a simple AWP. That's a very difficult shot, but Simple has been missing a few in the last 3 or 4 rounds. Either way, we'll see. For Astralis, we're going through just a default here. Looks like it. 3 players towards B, 1 in the apartments, 1 patrolling middle. Very standard stuff so far. And he just needs a charge towards B. Device pre-fire in the corner there. And they have banana control now. You can retake this from the terrorists. It's just very difficult. That's a great HE grade. He bounced off the skybox. A lot of players are doing that these days. It used to be a massive thing in Source, and I haven't really seen it too much in CSGO. But you can jump up, especially in Inferno. It's got a low skybox there, bounce it right off, get the grenades right at the barrels there. So you can allow them to have B control or banana control and then do some considerable damage. And on the CT side as well, that's huge. You've now enabled yourself 2 players, make it 3, and now 1 bullet potential from the M4. And that might not sound like a huge deal, but it means now they can actually go toe-to-toe with the AKs and one-on-one duels and have a lot more success.
Well, Bomb again is working its way toward the similar position where in which the nade just detonated. Smokes go down. That nade wasn't quite as pretty as it catches off a rather awkward portion of the map and those hitboxes that do exist, the collisions that exist on those windows. Zeus takes care of Magisk as he pops back out. Remember, this is the round that weighs heavy on the NaVi chances.
Oof,
and they, with 22 seconds, are backing off. I don't even think they're going to bother.
Yeah,
keep the bomb back towards spawn, keep the guns up, because money starts to deteriorate at this point.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think they realized they were out of luck on that point. Like I said, that HE grenade really rattled Astralis to kick things off. Then they commit, and they just smoked out completely. They didn't do a very good job of baiting out the utility from NaVi. Zeus, fantastic work. Sprayed like 25 bullets initially through the smoke, saved 5, and then managed to get the first kill and really pushed them back at that point. They couldn't readjust and reposition with the smokes, so this went back, and that's fine. Astralis will just hold on to the majority of their weaponry. It's 13-10, but NaVi, like we said, definitely still in this one, and it all starts there, as they will have more utility now. They have all the rifles they need, the AWPs out, and we've seen so many overtimes. We kicked off today with one, and I'm sure it's not the last of the overtime dynasty we've created here at this major so far. So Astralis now repositioning, working on what's the next round setup. Looks like the AWP will stay firmly in the cabinet for now. The AK will come through for device, just saving the money there. They've still got one more buy available to them, but tactical timeout just to discuss their options here. There is reset potential for NaVi, but not massively. Even if all 5 players went down, they'd still have enough for somewhat of a buy. And that's unlikely. If they're going to lose a round, especially on a map like Inferno, you're most of the time going to save at least a couple of guns. But we'll see.
Flamey. He gets a bit more aggressive to cover off the top side of middle. It's Dupree that's continuing over to where Alt made that. Molotov didn't quite land as intended, I don't think. It may have spread after we switched the camera angle, but it looked to me like it was just kind of a moot point on the wall. Simple, meanwhile, backs off from quad on the AWP, and Glaive goes back to get the bombs, so everyone's just kind of finding their pacing in the round, their positions. And it certainly looks to me as Astralis have put so much pressure on the Banana in multiple scenarios prior that they want to try out A. Again, you said it, they ran out of luck last time. They got hit with a rather tremendous nade. And it is sort of a last-ditch effort at this point, as NaVi would find 13-11 and the money would be in disarray. So it's something different and something new. Who starts it off by getting Zipix, though, and that might force them back. They are. This time, though, they might have a chance because they've already started the rotations. Edward's the only one toward the B side immediately, in effect, and he's out toward the smoke. They know it. They know he's pushed back in. He gets to the site, thankfully, and he does have an incendiary. That forces the rotation. The rotation's coming very quickly indeed from both Flamey and Simple, and with no smoke down towards CT spawn, Simple's got promise, but it's Edward's Molotov that actually does the work. Glaive getting an assist, or rather, excuse me, Zeus getting an assist as Glaive went down. His second contribution in the round, and Edward still at new boxes, not spotted. Is coming just for company, but there's no entrance that yields a bomb plant, despite that there was only one over toward B. Majiska's doing swift work, but he'll get taken down. 13-11 is the score, and NaVi certainly back in this game.
They're looking much better now on the CT side. Like we said, it just needs a couple of promising rounds, and that certainly was one. Edward just buying as much time as he possibly could there. Certainly not feeling it so much in the 1v1 duel department, but he's playing a great game tactically in terms of buying as much time, dropping the incendiaries, and holding them off, and creating space for his teammates when they rotate in. He's just a new box, is staying alive as long as possible. Great stuff from him, and Astralis looking a little bit locked out at the B side, especially. There we go. And we're getting to round 25 now. Simple. The AWP, the only one on the server right now. Device stuck with the AK, which is absolutely fine. We knew this would be a good game. Overtime still very much on the cards, but money being whittled down from Astralis. Back and forth we go. Not clear who's going to be taking this one just yet. For now, Astralis have the slight lead, but remember on the CT side, blink and you'll miss it. They could tie this one up very quickly.
Good shot by Simple. Takes out Zipix. Smoke to go down on the arch. Simple tries to anticipate that they're going to try and cross as quickly as possible and fire just before it bloomed, in hopes he would catch a jumping opponent. Fires into the smoke on the other side in hopes he'll get lucky. But he's no Pharrell Williams.
How did I know that was coming? I could feel
it's
it.
weird, right? Like, you and I figured each other out at that point. Look at that, though, from Astralis. Glaive, Dupree, Majisk all finding kills. Everyone inside of the site goes down. Smoke still holding off the two remaining players, Zeus and Edward, who's late on rotation. And Zeus is calling to get out of there because bomb's planted. Is he, though? Because he's going back toward Library. Is he going to try and find one quick kill to allow Edward the chance at a 1 versus 2? Probably not.
I don't think it's possible, and that's much better from Astralis. They've had some real troubles in that B bomb site, especially the smokes and discipline NaVi have demonstrated with their utility, especially the smoke grenades, right? It's holding them off to the last second, pushing them right back. Good calculated aggression as well. Go towards A, where Astralis, I always think, do their best work, absolutely. So you can see them pincering there, decent default at the start, pushing back at B, get back towards middle, get that control, pin to the side, and find the kills required. Only 3 of them this time as Zeus and Edward. Like I said, if you're going to lose a round on the CT side, there's a good chance you're going to keep rifles up anyway. So saving them is obviously very beneficial, especially when the money isn't broken. You don't have to force particular rounds unless it's one like this. You're now 14-11 down. You might be considering going for some more aggressive decisions, considering you want to deny match point in this case, when it being a best of 1. So much on the line here, Matt. It's a really brutal system you have here, the Swiss one, especially if your rivals don't perform on their day as well. If you go 0-1 and a few other teams have messed up in terms of their initial matchup as well. We could have some very, very juicy games tomorrow, you know?
Juicy, juicy. I think it's been a pretty impressive start to this, and certainly not that we've had the score lines we had in the Challenger stage.
Sure.
But maybe in the fact that there's something to be said about the player break and the Legends not playing as much, you could say, because today was all Challengers with the exception of G2.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's a weird one, but I love this format. I think it keeps things exciting. The fact you can't necessarily prep for a particular side of the bracket and stuff, you know, there's like you don't really know you could be playing the next day and stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, look, no format's perfect. There's been a lot of discussion over this one, and at first we loved it, and now we've seen sort of some of the downsides of it. But I think it's still pretty good overall.
I think it's got good entertainment value.
Yeah. I think the pros outweigh the cons.
We'd prefer, obviously, best of threes, but then we'd need about 3 months to run the actual event itself. So for entertainment value, I think this is fantastic. Either way, though, AKs are out. Astralis, fresh off the victory. The previous round, they gave 2 away, but round number 25 was theirs. Still on the AK-47s here. If they can win this one, that should be pretty much GG at this point. They'll be 15-11 up. There'll only be $1,900 available to NaVi. That's if they don't save the orb, etc. But this could be it. Focusing on A once again. They were struggling towards B, so this makes sense. Flashbangs to come through. Smokes towards Library. Electronic with the AK. I feel like he's going to do massive work here. There's the first kill. Simple will back him up. That might be round guaranteed at this point already. Electronic not dropping down whatsoever, and Simple just keeps hitting the shots. He hits another. Glaive goes down to 21, and he'll be finished off by Flamey there. Huge round win there for NaVi. Like we said, they managed to avoid match point, reset the money for Astralis as well, and overtime still looking very likely now.
Yep. Reset achieved. So 2 rounds to go, but 2 rounds between them. 2 rounds potentially to go. But no money suggests otherwise. Simple immediately gets the AWP. Throw him back over toward him and now be ready to roll. I say throw him back over toward him, actually. Excuse me, he had that. He didn't die. He didn't go down. Look at the amount of utility they've got on the CT side as well, which isn't important, more important, I think, in this map than many others. A note to make because it's just choke point after choke point toward B in Banana that you want to cover off. And in doing so, you can give yourself more freedom on the A side of the map.
Indeed. What's the call here from Astralis? Are they forcing this? Device has gone for the A Galil, not the AK. I take that back. Majors, because so 2 of them have fully invested. Now make it 3. Glaive and Zipex, the only ones with any bit of cash left over. So this is an almighty call here, and if this doesn't work out, it's swing the door wide open.
They need a bomb plant.
Yeah, they really do.
They desperately need a bomb plant because they're going to go into 3rd round loss bonus, which isn't enough to compensate for the difference. The $800 would be, and then they can still play on a 14-13 or 14-14 scoreline. If they don't get one, then they're actually almost putting themselves into a tie situation where the money would just barely be enough to buy.
Well, here we go. This is quite exciting. I didn't think Astralis would make these sort of calls. This is such a turning point of the game as well. Give this one up. You're only going to have 2nd stage loss bonus. You're going to have to let them get to round... Well, let it get to 14-14, and then it's all to play for at the end. Simple holds them off the incendiary towards the apartments, perfectly timed. They were all there, and now they just have to wait until the flames go down. Flash will go out, but can they really do anything with this? Such a defensive hold from the CTs as well. I don't think that flash will do much for them. Electronic protected by the smokes almost, and he can hear them all in the pits. Just going to bide his time.
Electronic certainly does hear them down there. Spots them as well jumping, did he not? He may not have seen them, because now he looks over and spots 3 of them. Thankfully, okay, Simple's going to get both. He'll fire through one into the other. That works out fine. Electronic won't be selfish. They just want to achieve victory, and he's got position still to cover off quad, which includes Magisk. As the bomb plant, not going to happen. It's Zipix left against 4, and they know exactly where he is because Electronic has called this. They're swarming on top of him, and this is now a 1-point game. NaVi leaving it to the last minute, but finally putting together a second half to complement that of the first.
Well, there you have it. NaVi. Oh, there we go, boys. Got to have nice, crisp high fives in this game. 14-13. Remember, that was the force buy. Astralis now have to eco here. It's going to go 14-14, and all of a sudden you give advantage NaVi because they're on the CT side. So there we go. Out of the last 5 rounds, NaVi have picked up 4 of them. Astralis struggling now. It was looking like a bit of a lock-in after their initial run. Remember, Matt, they were actually, what, like 6-1 up on the T side in the second half. It was looking so good for them, and it's all just come crashing down around them. NaVi not giving anything up in the last few. Blocks in the CZ, that's about it. Device swallows a grenade, make it 2 of them. Just 2 points of health as well now. This is a pretty much gimme round for NaVi.
That brings it to 14-14, and this is what I was talking about. They'll be relying on the lost round bonus to get their guns out in the next round. And you said it. They could certainly pull this back. 13-9 was 13-10, and now we find ourselves at 14-13 reset in the middle of that for Astralis. It was almost the exact worst case scenario. Device on 2 HP. Fires out a warning shot. Doesn't really do much other than to call Simple into action. Has a plethora of targets to fire at. Only finds one. Thankfully, oh, okay, I was going to say, thankfully Device is the one left over that the pistol could collect on, but he couldn't find that kill either. So they are overwhelming the op inside of the library, but good read from Flamey. Gets much closer to that position and won't necessarily allow them to pull it out with any chance of using it, although Magisk is a bit of a magician. Pulls one back. Zeus knows that Xyp9x was heading that direction. He flipped away at the wrong time. Doesn't matter because he has the bomb. And the AWP down. It is 14-14 indeed, as Xyp9x left with little to work with at 27 seconds and contained inside of the CT spawn.
Xyp9x now. Not really much you can do about this one. It is going to be a very difficult situation for him. Zeus, he'll indeed find the final kill there, and it's going to be 14-14. We're all tied up, and in terms of money, there is a full buy for Astralis. It's not all doom and gloom. They've given up a lot in the last few, but they do have a nice healthy buy here. I say that, but Device does have to just go for the Galil instead of the AK. I think the Galil gets a bit of a bad rap. I think overall it's not as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It only costs you $2,000. I think that's a pretty good investment overall. It's definitely deadly in the right hands. A lot of people will go for a Deagle or a SMG instead of it, but I still think it's very, very good. Simple spot of the hand of one of the players there. That is Device. Watch out for him. Might be taken down here.
Oh, timing is off.
Yep.
Sees the hand. Little wave. Cheeky. And then looks away after waiting for it to reappear. Exactly then. So does the player. That bounce nade once more. That was the start of the turnaround from NaVi. Was the round in which they were able to collect 3 players with that nade. Damage, that is, not kills, but nonetheless led to a save from the Astralis side. Minute to go in this round. And it cracks the game wide open. Looks to be A. Single man left over on the B side. That's Device. He'll try and pull rotations. He does actually have 3 players in B currently, and that might be a gamble from NaVi, knowing the fact that Astralis has had most of their success on that side of the map. So it wouldn't take much to necessarily lock them there. If they're already leading that way in their mind, it wouldn't take much utility to convince them, sort of a confirmation bias, if you will.
30 seconds now. They are going to commit towards A, but they haven't got a ton to work with here. One smoke now. Deployed on the site, Electronic can hear the footsteps, so call for the rotations. All 5 players from Astralis commits. Who will get the first frag? It's Device with the aforementioned Galil. The bomb should be able to get down pretty comfortably here, but Electronic's still on the site, gets nothing for it. And that should be a save now from the CTs as Device continues to apply the pressure there, holding towards Library. That's going to be round 5 on 2, but Zeus, how can he be alive here? Even gets the kill. Device looking for the hat trick with the Galil there, just to prove a point, but a clean sweep almost from Astralis there. Just Device goes down, but his job was done, I would say. It's a big round, and it will be match point for Astralis first. Another successful A take there, Matt. You can see the smoke towards Library, the smoke on the side, taking vision away, and if you've got players like Device taking down AWPers in Library with a Galil, that's not bad at all. That's always going to be round winning, especially on a player like Simple. He just finishes things off here. Been great for Astralis this year. Could be the last round, or could be the beginning of a long overtime.
Brilliantly done from Astralis, but you're right, it's not necessarily a foregone conclusion. They still are on the disadvantaged side. It seems odd to say it that way. The less favored side. Which means NaVi can absolutely put this into overtime. That's been a common theme throughout this major already. We haven't had one on day 1 of the Legends stage, but this could be the first. It would almost be uncharacteristic at this point not to have one. Magisk, meanwhile, holds off top 8. He'll back off, so too Device. They've already established the territory. They've taken it over for themselves, and they'll leave Device once more to hold it. So back toward A. This time, not quite the same setup from NaVi. It's a 3-2, and a pretty typical one at that. You've got 2 players over toward quad or pit. 1 at arch, ready to rotate. Zeus is that player. Smoke down, he wants to get a little bit inquisitive as to what's going on the other side of that smoke. Nade will do it instead. Doesn't quite go far enough to do any damage.
This is where it all leads to. Astralis trying to do their best to avoid overtime here. 45 seconds. Looks like a B split to me, or maybe just a B fake device. I'll try and bait has some of the attention. He does a corner peek like that just to see if he can get a smoke deployed from the CTs, but they're running out of time. Bomb still towards top and middle. Will it go through the arch towards the B site? Or will this be a complete B fake and they'll make their way back towards A? It looks like it's the latter. 5 players now. They've actually pulled Zeus away from the A side, but it might not matter as Flamey hits the first kill. It's up to him and Electronic now to save the day, but the timing is off, but Dupree doesn't hit the kill.
Zipix dropping in. That could be the end of it as well, because the bomb has to be picked up. They just barely get it. Magisk is able to wrap by the arch side, thankfully, without being caught. If he was caught, it could have still fallen apart. 5 seconds, bomb goes down, and it's now a subtle situation for NaVi to be in. They've got no kits, they've got armor, they've got decent HP, but they've got to make a play to get toward the site. Edward wants to lead it. Good shot, finds device. Now their chances increased tremendously because Zipix has only 2 HP, has to play this perfectly off of his teammate. Magisk up above. Zipix does exactly that. Steps out, clutches it, and it is 1-0 for Astralis at a 16-14 score over NaVi.
It looked like they were rumbled there. It seemed like it was over and NaVi were going to take us to overtime, but Magisk finds a few very good trade there. Dupree playing out of his mind throughout the map. It is 16-14, as to be expected. That's the number 1 and 2 team in the world right now, going at it, putting on a show for us in Inferno, back and forth. And I have to say, well played to NaVi to even bring it back to the close game, but no... They won't be thinking like that, Matt. They'll be thinking that was too close. We had that one and it all fell apart right to the final mark.
Exactly. And they're going to be thinking we had a great T-sided half. Now, there's lots of encouraging things to take away from that. Obviously, we saw some bickering between Simple and Edward. You mentioned it. Edward was very slow to get started in that game. Again, those are things that can be easily rectified on an individual level. It sucks to lose to Astralis early on, but it's a Swiss system for a reason. You've got the most amount of chances out of all of the systems that we've used to still advance in this tournament. So I wouldn't get too flustered. If you get down 0-2, okay, as NaVi, number 2 team in the world, then you get flustered.
Well, I think that was good for NaVi. It was character building. They started off very slow into it. They won the pistol, but then got completely battered for 5 or 6 rounds. They came back right into the end of the first half, and they did the same thing in the second half as well. If they can get those decent starts and hold on to them, that could be something. But congratulations there to Astralis and Co.
The one thing I will say, as again, interestingly enough, Astralis coming in from the Challengers and going to the 1-0.
Yep.
If you are in the 0-2, we know how, or sorry, the 0-1, we know how lethal that can be when there's upsets.
Yes.
And that is full of previous Legends teams.
Yeah.
That's a tough position to be in. So maybe there is again, not to be flustered, but worried.
Yeah.
It's going to be cutthroat tomorrow.
It really is. It's going to be a great day, and we've got one more game to come, Matthew. It's been a lot of fun so far. How are you feeling? Back in
good.
Seville?
I think it was good to get back into it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all, was
The
it?
last game I casted before this was PUBG.
That's true. We've been away for a while, exploring yourself, finding yourself.
Yeah.
That seemed fun, but we're not going to talk about that because it's all going to be about Counter-Strike for the next, 15 days or so. We're going to bring you all the action here, live from London, the greatest city in the world, the greatest game in the world, and the greatest man in the world, and the greatest interviewers. And we've got one of them ready right now. It's going to be down to Freya on the show floor. Over to you.
Why, thank you, Henry. Yes, I'm here with the winning side Astralis, joined by Glaive and Dupree. So, guys, that was one of the most anticipated matchups of the day. Did you feel the pressure coming into it?
I felt the pressure a lot, and also because a lot of good teams lost today. So we knew if we were going to lose, we will have a really tough game tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm really happy we won. It was a sick game.
Because last time you played NaVi, which was actually in Cologne, I believe, you lost to them. Was there an element of wanting to get revenge there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the game felt very similar, the way they played, the way we played, but this time we just didn't run into their stacks because we prepared a lot for it, so that was really good.
So how exactly did you prepare for it? Was it a lot of watching their previous games?
Yeah, it was a mixture. We do usually work as we always do, no matter what opponent we play against. I mean, and Lucas made some really good calls, so I mean, I think that was probably the edge that made us win today.
Because it was such a back and forth game. I just want to go back to the first half. Why do you think they managed to counter you so well and get so many T rounds?
I mean, Inferno is a pretty heavy team map right now, so it's really tough to play CT. You almost can't get banana control, and we tried to do that a lot of rounds, but they denied us almost every round. So yeah, it's tough to play CT on Inferno right now, and that's why they got so many T rounds.
So do you feel like they're one of those teams that just have the ability to constantly test you as a side?
Well, I mean, like, NaVi is a really great team. They have some really good individual players, especially in Simple and Electronic. They can definitely turn games around like really fast. They have a really good in-game lead in Zeus as well. So they are really a team that's hard to play against because also they keep applying pressure to you. If they know that they can break your economy, they will keep like fighting for it. And I think, especially on Inferno, economy is really important. So that's one of their really great assets.
Yeah, I just briefly want to talk about Simple. He had an incredible game. How do you counter such a dominant force?
Yeah, so Simple is just a great player. We don't do anything specific. We just try to avoid and be aware of everything that can happen during the round, especially when we are at the T side. Don't let him get any picks in the beginning of the rounds. So we try to speak in the beginning of the round where would he maybe come and what do we need to do against it. So yeah, that's it.
I just want to talk briefly about those last few rounds. Was there a turning point for you, Dupree, where you realised that you had the momentum to close it out?
Not really. I mean, like, I think it was really narrow for both sides, and I think what it really made like the edge was Lucas made up some really good calls in the last 2 rounds. We knew that they really liked to do the stacking game, and we just tried to really gamble with their minds. And we could see in the last round they started smoking everywhere, and we were like, they have no idea where we are. So I think that was probably the turning point. When they started smoking everywhere, I was like, we got this round, because they started doubting themselves and they didn't know what to do.
So going into tomorrow, you've now got that 1 win under your belt. Does that give you a lot more confidence?
It definitely does. I think it was really good to get over this first point. Now we're just going to focus about the next match tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you guys very much, and congratulations again on that amazing win. We're going to head back over to the analyst desk.
Expect nothing less than the full 30 rounds when you put number 1 and 2 in the ring against one another at the start of the major. Yes, the Legend stage kicks off, and so do Astralis and NaVi. What felt like a back and forth affair, everyone showing their fair share, and Simple absolutely pulling his weight. Some spectacular work from him in the server, and I feel like we got to learn a little bit from Astralis there. They didn't feel like they had that, and I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah, that was an amazing match to watch. It had literally everything you wanted to see. Astralis slipping up, making some mistakes early, losing an eco. And then you have Simple and Edward argument, which was kind of crazy, and then they bounced out of that. They come back in that half.
How do they keep doing that?
I have no idea. That was insane that they bounced back from that. Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was slipping out of Astralis' hands at the end. They had some crazy good A executes. NaVi had B stacks left and right. Some of them paid off, some of them didn't.
Yeah, and that's a conversation I really want to have, actually, because you seem to have, you both address this, and you both have your own opinions of it. Gamble stacking from NaVi. Astralis said that they were expecting it, that they made precautions against it after falling for it before. What's your take on it, Threat? What do you make of NaVi gamble stacking, quote unquote?
I mean, especially on Inferno as CT when the economy is so important, if you lose an early pick, it just makes sense to go for a 4-man stack on one side, because the worst thing that can happen is, well, it's 50-50 if they go your side, then you're probably going to win.
If it's
otherwise,
50-50.
Yeah, exactly. But if they go the other side, you can keep your weapons, and that's very key. Otherwise, usually you split up 2-2 or 3-1. You go for a few picks, and usually you only survive 1 or 2 people. So I think it's a very intelligent play. And I also want to highlight Astralis' way of handling the economy. They actually made a 4-man save as T, which is very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm so glad you brought that, because Sean, you were making observations that, though it seems logical, it's not often seen or easy to do.
It is extremely difficult as the in-game leader to halt an attack like that in a 5 versus 5 where one person dies, and you can still technically have time to hit the bomb site and potentially even run back to the other one to say, no, let's save these 4 guns for the next round. But adding on what Bjorn just said about the gamble stacks, there was one that particularly paid off. It was the 5v4 where NaVi stacked all 4 members in the B bomb site, and Xyp9x made a phenomenal play to run through CT spawn and play that 1v1 against Flamey in the halls.
And like Flamey's not to be faulted there, really, right?
No.
I mean, he just kind of got outplayed.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing he could have done at that point. The only thing he could have done was catch Xyp9x running spawn. But once Xyp9x got spawn and got away, he played that situation perfectly.
And that round actually money screwed NaVi, and I think that Astralis would have been money screwed if they won that round. So they would have actually probably won the game if Xyp9x didn't clutch that.
And if Astralis didn't have the clutch master in their roster, but, you know, it's all ifs and buts at the end of the day. And indeed, of course, this goes all the way down to the line, and you do have that head-to-head we brought up earlier. You can see their in-game stats. Yes, Device just getting himself a nice, cool, calm, and indeed a 22 frag game from him. Magisk picked himself up 24 as well, but Simple, top of the scoreboard. as always, a 1.3 rating from him in this game. I mean, you can't ask for more from Simple.
No, he actually had 2 incredible 1-digs on Device early in his first half, which it's shocking that Device was able to bounce back, because those are tilting deaths he had. Like, he just got out-dueled by a Deagle without even shooting an op shot.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
the one from Slope was just ludicrous.
Yeah. You see Simple by a Deagle, you're like, okay, let's just, the Observer even just giving us the luxury of just, let's follow this from the start. Let's shout out to Sliggy. And actually, you know, we're going to dive back into the game now for a replay. Now, what did you call this one? What's the title?
This is just
adventure?
A gamble stack by Astralis on the opening pistol round. Bjorn and I were both watching it, and if Astralis did lose this match, this pistol round, the opening pistol round, would have been the fault of it.
Right. Okay. Let's
so
take
basically,
a look.
Device will cross mid at the start of the pistol round, and he's going to see people enter banana, and that's not shocking. Honestly, to see people enter in banana on a pistol round isn't shocking, but they decide to gamble 3 people in the B bomb site, which isn't always terrible, but you should have a kit for the A retake, and your A players shouldn't be nested up double in the big pit, because when executes, which are very common, like this happen, where 3 people come bailing out of halls, 2 people come out lane with a flash to the pit, it's extremely hard to go more than 1 for 1 in this scenario. And a 3v3 retake on the A bomb site just is not favorable. This is a huge gamble by Astralis early in this match, and this could have cost them the game.
And they didn't have a kit, to clarify.
Yeah, exactly. A 3v3 retake when you have 3 people deep on B with no kit. It's maybe like 70-30 of winning that round.
So like this round and the Eco round where Astralis came out of the halls with quite a few players and they lost that round, those were 2 huge mistakes that you don't typically see out of Astralis. So when those 2 things happened, I was like, okay, NaVi this is actually so doable at this point for NaVi. They don't normally get these kind of mistakes.
No, indeed. Of course, you know, let's not forget that the stats did come up, and I mean, you had an uncharacteristic performance from Edward with 6 frags, and so there is just, on both sides, there are things that will be tidied up, of course, coming into tomorrow. We're nearly there. Just one more game for today, for our first day of the Legends stage, and it's Cloud9 versus Vega Squadron. Breathe in those results for a moment, though. I just want you to understand, the challengers came to fight today, Sean.
Yes.
Just one Legend team. One Legend team has managed to keep up their...
Our very first game, actually, and they had to do it in overtime.
Yeah, it has been quite the tale so far, and it shows just how close Counter-Strike is at the moment from being the greatest, and indeed from falling just by Nat's wing. We're going to be talking more about the next game, though, Vega versus Cloud9, coming up after the break. First, a reminder, epics.gg. If you're interested in checking it out, you can do so on your phone or on the website, and you can go ahead and compare and contrast and trade and all of that good stuff. Your favorite CSGO stars, that's epics.gg. Right, we take a break, and we'll be finding out if Vega Squadron can continue their run. I'm no longer calling them surprise, because they made it all the way to the Legend stage, and the CIS minor team are going to test their might versus major champions Cloud9.